So, what we have been saying all year that's going to happen has finally happened.
Edo is gone.
Like 50%. He's gone,
Yeah,
but he's not gone.
Let's talk about that first. But I guess we got
let's get
some
to
preliminaries.
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to thank Cam Smith with the Just Jesus
Thank you, Cam.
Radio Network, internet radio app for all your gospel preaching, gospel singing. Our boy Dave is on there Saturday mornings at 8:30, so make sure you give him a listen. Also, with the American Senior Benefits Insurance Company, all your insurance needs. Cam also has a very special message for the American Senior Benefits right here.
Open enrollment for Medicare Advantage plans and Medicare supplements opens tomorrow, October the 15th, and runs to December the 7th. If you have any questions about your drug plans, anything like that, your Medicare Advantage, anything like that, feel free to call me at 864-804-3819. I will be at the Walgreens on Pine Street from now until December the 7th, every Monday and Tuesday. So if you get your drugs filled at Walgreens or anything like that, I will be there on Monday and Tuesday. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'll be glad to set an appointment with you and come out and talk to you about that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Cam. We do appreciate that. Make sure y'all go give him a listen, give him a call, whatever you need for all your needs. But, boys, it's good to be back.
Missed you Monday. Did you kill any caribou?
No caribou.
Okay,
4 elk and 3 kangaroo.
Really?
Yep. Choked one by the neck.
Really? Like that dude that punched someone in the face when his dog was getting attacked by it? That was legendary.
I don't know what these guys told you where I was at on Monday.
It was all true.
But don't believe nothing they said. But, yeah, let's dive into this, boys. Edo.
What confuses me the most, what you kind of mentioned earlier in the video, how are you fired but still the head coach?
David when we were talking the other day, Dave, what other illustration did you use?
Man, I don't remember.
You said something about you was like, that's like getting cheated on, and be like, man, well, we'll stay together for a year, but then
we're gonna get divorced.
We're done later. Yeah.
There's a whole lot of this don't make sense.
It don't.
Yeah. First off, he won.
That's the big. Well, see, I heard that this took place before the
did.
Yeah, that's what me and David said on the Monday video. It had to have taken place.
And I
prior
understand
to
that, and I think that's right. I think that's fair.
Right.
I think he needed to go,
100%.
regardless if he won or not.
Yeah.
But if you decided to part ways with him as a front office at LSU at the end of the season, why did you not wait till the end of the season?
Right.
And then you could come out and say, we discussed this 6 weeks ago. Or however long ago, 6 games ago, really probably about 3 months ago, but we're just now acting on it. But instead, they're announcing and coming out, and then Edo even made a statement like, I've won enough games or some bull crap like that. I've had my time. I'm getting old.
Right.
Yeah, that's like trying to compensate for being
not and a very mediocre coach.
Yeah.
And legitimately, I don't see how you can go. I mean, this is upcoming will be like week 8, so the next 5-6 weeks and actually coach. You know what I mean? Knowing you're going to be fired. I don't see why LSU, because the main reason he's getting fired is because of their culture that he's built down there and all the things and the stories that are beginning to come out about
It's more than just on the football field.
Yeah, exactly. So why would you even want him still around the program, even if finish out the year? I just put an interim in there, and kind of like you typically see from every program that does something.
Because
like
the thing is, you're not winning the West.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, you're 3 and 3 on the year.
They'll be lucky to go 6 and 6, 7 and 5.
They went 5 and 5 last season, 3 and 3 this season. They have a 500 record since winning the national championship. Your hopes are not high. So what are you playing for? What's the reason of keeping Edo at LSU?
Here's the thing to me: how in the world, as an LSU coach that is still going to be around after Coach O leaves, how do you recruit right now?
Right. Well, see, I'd heard that he's still recruiting at a high rate.
Well, I mean, you got to think they went 5 and 5 last year, and they still had like the second or third ranked recruiting class. They were recruiting well. But what confused me the most, again, kind of going back to what we just said about how he's still staying there. From everything you read, the coaches want nothing to do with him, the coaching staff. The players want nothing to do with him. So to me, you're just hurting the program that much more for not getting rid of him. And I'll tell you where Ed Orgeron failed LSU was his coaching hires. Because once Dave Aranda left and once Joe Brady left, a great offensive coordinator, a great defensive coordinator, we've seen LSU completely go downhill, showing that he was not a good X's and O's guy whatsoever. He don't know the right people to hire, and obviously the culture that he built. Because we fell in love with him in 2019. We fell in love with the voice. We fell in love, with his personality. And then they won the championship, and he became so arrogant. He became so cocky, and you see the culture that's been displayed in LSU.
Yeah,
ever since.
I like what you said about the players aren't bought in. I mean, we've seen even today one of their 4-star receivers gone into the transfer portal, and it wouldn't surprise me if a lot more players don't leave.
Yeah.
Especially if they're good and talented and try to go to another school.
I think so too, and there's just a whole lot there. Like I said, I don't understand how you recruit, and I don't understand how on Monday practice you're like, all right, guys, buy in what I'm telling you.
How do you get a team ready?
There's no way that I feel
knowing
like
you're fired.
I think this is going to be ugly for LSU the rest of the year. I
agree.
Maybe I'm wrong, and somehow Ed Orgeron says, you know what, y'all, I know I'm not going to be here after this year, but give me a good 6 games.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some players, no doubt, on LSU's roster that
absolutely.
that are bought in on Edo, and I can imagine that those players will play hard for him.
Yeah, but at this point it doesn't matter because even if you're bought in on Edo, he's not going to be there next year.
Exactly. So that brings us up to the next conversation: is who's the best hire for that position?
I will say this: if a lot of players don't transfer out of LSU, to me, LSU is a more attractive job than USC because LSU has talent.
They do.
LSU should be competing for the West this year. They really should. They have that much talent.
LSU's a big brand.
Yeah, and it's not only that, they have the talent to be an 11-1 football team at the end of this year. So whoever gets hired is going to be taking over a Ferrari and a Lamborghini.
Yeah, for sure. I seen somebody said that Jimbo was one of the top.
Definitely not.
I don't see that either.
I don't know why people think that
RJ Young.
No, RJ Young said Dabo.
Well, he was on the top 5 list though.
Too.
Oh yeah, but Dabo was number 1.
Dabo and Jimbo, I don't even believe they're in talks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see why people think that somebody. Now it'd be different if maybe Jimbo was at Purdue or something.
Yeah. Right.
Like I don't see why somebody would leave a great program like A&M. That he's starting to build something a little bit. They got the win over Alabama, or obviously Dabo with what he's built. So I mean, I think you're going to hear the typical names: the Luke Fickell, the PJ Fleck. I mean, you're going to hear those names, the Matt Campbell, and it'll be interesting to see who they eventually hire.
I could see PJ Fleck going.
I could
leaving Minnesota.
I just don't know if he'd be the best fit for that culture down there because
I don't think he would.
There's a weird culture to that Baton Rouge area. There really is.
There is. I mean, he'd be a good hire, I think. But as far as
I love PJ Fleck.
As far as fitting in well, I don't know either.
Culture fit matters. I think a Mel Tucker could be a good.
I think Mel Tucker would be a good fit for that culture.
And that's a guy I think I could definitely see.
But what about what he's doing now though?
Yeah,
but
that's true. But Michigan State's not LSU.
Right, exactly.
That's
That's a much bigger brand.
Yeah, that's true.
And a much higher ceiling, I think. I mean, because if you are Mel Tucker and you're doing what you're doing and doing what you did at Colorado and now you're bringing it to Michigan State.
Right.
And really and truly, Michigan State's in national title contention
right now.
And that sounds weird to say because
they are after 7 weeks of football.
You know, in my heart, I don't believe they have a honest chance at it.
I mean, they barely beat Indiana by 5.
But however, they're undefeated and ranked top 10.
Yeah, I think number 8.
8 or 9.
I mean, some chips fall their way and they could be in the playoffs.
Right.
Whoever comes out of that conference is going to be in. But like you said, LSU is a dream job for some coaches.
100%. I mean, it's not just one of the best jobs in college football. It's one of the best coaching jobs in football, period.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to hear the Urban Meyers get thrown in there.
I'd also heard Joe Brady.
I was actually about to say that. You probably hear that thrown in there.
Leaving Carolina.
I was going to say, I think every time one of these jobs happen, they throw these names in.
Yeah.
And I just don't see PJ Fleck.
I don't
there. I don't. Even if he was to leave Minnesota, I don't see that being a fit.
Right.
James Franklin, I think you can count that out.
No.
Yeah, I've heard his name thrown around a little bit.
I think you can count out Luke Fickell.
I'll tell you, it'd be interesting to see James Franklin. I think out of the names that we've kind of just listed, who I would like to see would probably be Mel Tucker and James Franklin. I think it'd be the most interesting hires.
If I'm LSU, the guys that would be at the top of my list, and this is just David Josie's mindset, would be. I think Joe Brady would be up there.
Yeah. He's got to be.
For one, your fan base already loves him.
Right.
Yep.
He knows LSU, and he's a young offensive mind, and that's really what Cutsball needs.
Yep.
Mel Tucker will be up there. Luke Fickell will be up there, but I don't believe Luke Fickell is in it. I think Cincinnati's about to go to the Big 12.
Right.
And I think Luke Fickell's a great coach, but I don't necessarily think he's the right fit.
No,
I think they need, like what you said. I agree with what you said with that Joe Brady. They need a young guy.
But the only thing I'd push back there is obviously we see with the NFL, they're really starting to go to the younger offensive minds.
Right.
We've really only seen one of those work out in college football so far, that being Lincoln Riley. NFL, you see Sean McVay, you see the Chargers coach. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. You're kind of seeing that push, and they're being successful.
Right.
Will we see that actually translate in college? Because all we really have is Lincoln Riley.
Even with Kellen Moore, offense coordinator.
Right.
Yeah,
I bet you his name will get thrown in there. Hopefully Tony Elliott will go to that.
Yeah, Tony Elliott, if you're watching this, please go to
I'll throw this out there
LSU.
as well. If I was LSU, I'd be interested in Mark Stoops.
Yeah.
I didn't even
in
think about
Bob
that.
Stoops. To be
Yeah,
honest with
honestly, I'm surprised Bob Stoops ain't coaching at all.
Oh,
yeah.
And
Mark Stoops, I think, would be a very underrated.
I think he'd fit very well. He ticked me off Saturday, calling a timeout. You got 7 seconds left. You're down 23.
It's like an LSU thing to do, though. So,
yeah,
I mean,
that's not
exactly.
thing
That
to do,
is
yeah.
a LSU move, a snake move. LSU, a snake needs to be there. I mean, just being honest. I mean, look at their history. But that was a joke, kind of. There's some truth to that.
Maybe they'll go back and get Les Miles, dude.
I just dropped my phone.
Les Miles come back
after his failed attempt at Kansas.
I think Les Miles is done.
yeah, he's
Urban Meyer.
You'll hear Urban Meyer's name get thrown out there, especially when the Jaguars lose another 7 games in a row and Urban Meyer's
name
at
will
the
be out
bars.
there.
Yeah, absolutely will be.
But
Does Urban Meyer want to face Nick Saban every single year?
I think Joe Brady's the most intriguing name
Yeah,
there.
I do
think he is too. I think my favorite name that we mentioned, I think, is Mel Tucker. I think Mel Tucker would do a heck of a job at
Mel
LSU.
Tucker, Mark Stoops, Joe Brady. To me, if I was an LSU fan, that would be my top 3.
Yeah,
Look at the rest of LSU schedule real quick before we close.
It's tough. If I remember.
You got to think,
correctly.
if you're Mark Stoops, you've had 2 years within the last 5 that have been generational years for the Kentucky football team.
Yep.
And in each of those years, pretty much Georgia sat you down and said, "Hey, look, you've had a good run, but the East is ours."
Right, and
Yeah.
I mean, Kentucky's a basketball school.
Yep.
Like, that's not an easy place to win in football.
And they have to go through Georgia and Florida. And most years, both of those teams are pretty much powerhouses.
Right.
Yeah.
And in any given year, either one is. I mean, last year, Florida had that great year, 8-4.
Yeah.
Georgia's having the generational year they're having this year, and the as a program, if you're in Mark Stoops, are you a little bit frustrated? And that would interest me. And obviously, the thing is, I know you jump from the East where you got to beat Florida and Georgia every year to the West where you got to beat Saban every year.
Right.
Yeah.
So the competition's high, but
as SEC football period. But looking at LSU's schedule, they got Ole Miss next. You pretty much probably scratch that as an L.
Yeah.
Alabama scratch that as an L. Arkansas, they're good. They're definitely going to get outcoached there. It's at LSU, but honestly, Arkansas, I think they'll bounce back. And then you got Louisiana Monroe, which you pretty much pencil that in as a win, as a win. And then you got A&M to close out the season. So there's a good chance they lose the last 4 out of their 5 games. Maybe they win 2 out of the 5.
Two max, I think.
Yeah.
I could see it getting bad.
That's what I'm saying.
Because if these players are out, and if I'm a player and I know my coach ain't going to be there,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm either out on him or I'm transferring when he leaves.
Right.
And like you mentioned earlier, there's not really much more for them to play for, but you've seen some teams when they fire their head coach and they get an interim in there, they play hard for that interim head coach.
Yep. Yeah,
So.
but now you don't even have that. So.
That's what I'm saying. This whole situation is confusing me, the way LSU's handling it.
But let us know what you think about Edo staying, leaving.
Who should be the next head coach? And I'll say this, just throw something at them. LSU needs to get this coaching hire right, because Oklahoma and Texas are on the way.
That's for sure. So
let
us know. But what's the word of the day, Dave?
Hey,
the word of the day.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah. It's 2 words.
2 words.
Good luck, because Dallas is about to go in the woods and look at deer and not shoot a single one of them.
If Dallas kills a deer, I will cash out somebody in the comments $5.
Uh-oh.
What do they have to comment?
Good luck.
Good luck.
There's like 3 or 4 people that comment.
Well, I'll choose one of them.
Chooses one.
Oh, okay.
Probably Levi.
Wish me luck.